What is up, folks? My name is Ian Smith, and in this video I'm going to be going through my day trades today, what my profitability was like today, wrapping up my week. It's Friday, August 7th, and that is a good thing, ready for the weekend. So yeah, stay tuned on this video, click that thumbs up button and turn it blue, and let's go ahead and jump into my day trading recap and what's going on in the markets. All right, so now you can see my screen. As you can see, this is the SPY that we're looking at right now. Normally that's what I trade, is the S&P 500. This is the 1 minute chart right here, the 5 minute chart, the 1 hour chart, and then the daily chart right here on the right. This is the RSI down here along the bottom. And now the stock that I trade is called SPXL. I'm not actually buying the SPY, but I do reference the SPY like all day long, and I look at it on different time frames, obviously. But the SPXL stock is a fraction of it. It's only $52 versus $334, so I can buy a lot more SPXL than I can the SPY. So that's usually what I do. So today, my profit was $354. Pretty nice day to end the week. Usually my daily goal is $500, but fell short, only made $354, which is fine, whatever. So I traded Microsoft, SPXL, and then SPXX with SPXS, freaking stocks. And this SPXX is a short stock, so I was expecting the market to come down a little bit more than it did in the morning. I only made 10 bucks on that, made 10 bucks on Microsoft, and then made 333 on SPXL. So let's talk about what happened. Now, in the morning, we had a gap down. Okay, I was actually long pre-market, and I had a negative position. So, you know, I was up about 40 bucks. Then I was basically down about 20 bucks once I closed that negative position. When the market opened and pushed up, it allowed me to get out, which was nice. But yeah, I was expecting this market to open up, try to fill the gap, and then completely wash out pretty much within the first hour of it being opened. It did not do that, because when you look at the daily, it is very overextended to the upside. I thought that today would be the down day. Well, today it did go down, but it came right back up and finished at the highs, as you can see right there, which I think is just crazy. I don't know what's going on in this world, but a lot of bullish people are out there, and they are buying up this thing like crazy. Here's the VWAP, by the way. So my strategy involves support lines, the VWAP, and the RSI in a major way. It's pretty much my entire strategy. So let's talk about what happened. So I'm trying to get a read on the market and figure out what the trend is. Okay, so one of my rules is no trend, no trade. So I wanted to figure out, are we having an up day or is it going to be a down day? So in the beginning, it was kind of just consolidating, and then it started to push up. Now, I was thinking, okay, it's going to be an up day, crazy. I did not buy. I was actually looking to short it, and this is when I bought SPXS. So I was buying that stock because that's going to short, you know, it's a short stock. So up here, when it was pushing up into this resistance right here, shorted it, made very little money. I'm all nervous about shorting it. I mean, obviously, it's bullish as crap these days. It's crazy. Made a couple bucks there, but really where I scaled in was on this tank out right here. So market starts to tank out around 10 a.m. Now my strategy is, when the stock comes down to the lower VWAP band, and when the RSI is down in the lower range, like the 30% range, and if the RSI turns blue, that's a dip buy all day long. So I dip bought that. I think I had like 1,200 shares. Sold it way too early because I think only made like $150 off of this trade. And then as you can see, it just completely ramps up and pushes to all-time new highs at that point. But that's one of my other rules, is be patient. I'm patient on the entry. You know, when it's coming down, I need it to come into my area of buying, so as close to the lower band VWAP as possible, and as low as possible on the RSI. So I got to be patient there, and then patient when I'm inside the trade and in the trade. I like to buy it in the low 30%, like I mentioned, and then I like to sell it in the 50s, 60s, you know, high, mid 60% of the RSI. I do a lot of staring at that RSI. It is a very valuable number because it works out real well that the stock would just, you know, when it's down near the lower end of that RSI and you buy it, I feel like a lot of people look at it because it it goes up when it's down at the lower end. So around this same time, Microsoft, I believe, was tanking off as well. Let me see. Actually, no, Microsoft did a big tank around 1 o'clock. So that was the second tank off that I jumped into. So over here, market starts to tank off. I'm buying into this, usually I'll buy like 100 shares at a time. I'll just kind of scale in, get to my full size around 1,500 to 2,000, and then sell it when it starts to bounce up. Now this one was actually a pretty choppy little bounce. Usually it's a lot more cleaner. I mean, ideally, I guess it's cleaner where it just comes down and then goes right back up. This one was pretty choppy at like, where was it? So comes down, maybe actually, I think I also dip bought this one too. This one was a very choppy one. So I dip bought it here when it hit the VWAP, barely bounces up. I kept holding it, came back down to retest it. I'm kind of worried at this point because I'm thinking we are due for a pullback. This could be a much bigger pullback, but hopefully fortunately the VWAP held right there, pushes up. I sell like 3/4 of my position. I still have a third or a quarter left, and it completely washes out. But fortunately, I was able to then load back in because I had sold a lot of it up here. Then I was able to load back in and then sell it when it pushes back up there. So that was the second time. I'm getting all mixed up. This was the third time right here. It completely tanks off, comes all the way back down. I load back in and get a nice push up. Then I was done pretty much for the day, and that was when I finished at around 350. So ideally, if we look at the daily, ideally next week we should have some down days. I mean, I know that we want to go to all-time highs. 334 was our high today, and all-time high is 339. But we can do a little bit of a pullback. When we do, I want to pull back because I want to buy that dip, because I can go in bigger on that dip, knowing that like, okay, we're getting this massive pullback, because then the bounce from a massive pullback is going to be a pretty nice quick bounce. And that's what I'm kind of finding my main strategy is these days, is just dip buying once the RSI gets overextended. And then also dip buying some of these other stocks that I trade. I trade Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Shopify, and Tesla. That's like the only other stocks that I'll trade besides my main S&P 500 stocks. I highly recommend that to you as well. Like, don't try to trade all the stocks that are out there. Try to just pick like 5, 6, 7 stocks that you watch every single day, and just make your money from those stocks. Just play around in that little playground right there. And that's what I'm doing, and it's working. This week I'm finishing up around $1,100, a little over $1,100 this week so far. So I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, one day I would love to be doing what these big timers on YouTube are doing, where they're doing like 30K, 50K a day. But right now I'm okay with just the 300. One day I'll be bigger. But I just got to remember my rules, which number 1 is be patient, no trend, no trade, cut losses, have a stop loss in mind, and actually jump on that stop loss. Right now the market just keeps going up and up and up, and I feel like it's putting bad habits in me, because I kind of feel like I'm like relying on the market to just save me in the end, when it just, at the end of the day, just ramps up to all-time highs. So I feel like when the market does turn and it starts to come down, I'm nervous. I may be losing some money, because it's just I'm gonna be buying the dip, and then it will just keep falling and keep falling. And so I'm a little bit nervous, but we will see. We'll see what happens. So yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend you have some of your own rules. What I did was I typed them up in a Google Doc and then printed them out and put them on my wall back there. If you can see that little piece of paper on the wall, I don't know if you can see that, but anyway, that was my trades for today. Next week, I am hoping for a pullback. I don't want the market, honestly, to keep pushing up to that 339 number. I would rather it pull back first, maybe down to the low 330s, maybe even 330 itself, then push up with massive force up to the 339 number, 340 number that we all know the market is headed to. So that's where I'm thinking it's going. But yeah, hopefully you like this video. If you do, click that thumbs up button and turn it blue. Leave a comment below, and I'll catch you next week when I trade on Monday. See ya.